Okay, everyone. So right now, let's continue from the first video clip. Okay, so right now it is about second language learning. Okay, you can see here, Lernerberg acknowledged as the father of the critical period hypothesis, CPH, 1967, claimed the existence of a critical period in relation to language acquisition as beginning at age 2 and ending around puberty. Okay, so according to Lernerberg, okay, the critical period start from age 2, okay, until uh, the end, okay, until the end of puberty. Yes. Okay, the critical period hypothesis is based on the proposition that the child's capacity to acquire language is a genetically triggered, biologically driven process that ceases around the age of puberty. Okay, so right here it's mean we should start learning, okay, when we are about 2, okay, 2 years of age, okay, until around the end of puberty, okay. Otherwise, we will start our learning out of the critical period, and it's hard for us, okay, to approach neonatal language learner, okay. Okay, so when you start after the end of puberty, it's gonna be hard for you, okay, to develop the language, okay, fluently and accurately. Okay. Okay, researcher who favor an early start, okay, claim that young learners are at an advantage as the brain is more adaptable before puberty, okay, and that acquisition of language is possible without self-consciousness at an early stage. They bring out the distinction between the weaker and stronger version of the CPH. Okay, CPH stands for critical period hypothesis. Okay, so right, it is stated here. Okay, young learners are at an advantage as the brain is more adaptable before puberty. Okay, so if you start acquire L2 at an early start, okay, it means your brain can work flexibly, okay, and the brain is more adaptable, okay. The brain can adapt itself to the new language, to the new form of language, okay, to the new structure of the language easily. Yes. Okay, so right now move to next slide. Yes. Okay, so right now we're gonna focus on the weaker version and the stronger version. Okay, the weaker version assert that language acquisition will be efficient only if it begins within the critical period. And the sooner language acquisition begin after the period, the more successful it will be. Okay. Yes. So learning happen best when learning start in the uh, critical period. Okay. Yes. The stronger version, however, points out that the process of language acquisition doesn't continue beyond the end of the critical period, even if it had begun within the period. Okay, so when the critical period ends, your learning process will not be developed more. Okay, so it's mean even though you start, okay, even though you start in the critical period, but when the critical period ends, okay, the language acquisition will not continue. Okay, will not continue. It is the end of it already. Okay, yes. Okay, young and adult learner. Okay, we talk about second language learning. Okay, here. Okay, some of the reasons cited to bolster the superiority of young learner in acquiring a second language. Young learners are more enthusiastic, uninhibited, and can be easily motivated. Okay. However, many research studies point out the superiority of adult learner in learning a second language. Okay. Yes. Some of the reasons cited, yes, to bolster the superiority of young learner in acquiring a second language, young learners are more enthusiastic, uninhibited, and can be easily motivated. Okay, so it's mean you should learn when you were a young learner. Okay, don't wait until you become adult. Okay, yes, because when you are young, you can see here young learner are more enthusiastic. Okay, you feel enthusiastic about the language, you want to know it, you want to explore deeper into it. Okay, and you feel uninhibited, you feel free to study it, you feel free to get it. Okay, and can be easily motivated. As we have known already, when you are motivated to do something, you can do it at your best. Okay, but if you are not motivated, you will do it at your worst. You see, so when you start learning when you are young, at the very early stage, okay, you will be motivated to learn the language. Okay, yes, and then your learning will happen best. Okay, however, many research studies point out the superiority of adult learners in learning a second language. You see, but still there are many research studies show that adult learner can learn best as well. Okay, can learn better as well. Yes, we will know about this in the next slide. Okay, adult learner are at an advantage compared with that of younger learner in formal learning of grammar in instructional setting. Okay, so in terms of grammar, adult learner is better than young learner. Okay, in terms of grammar. Why, everyone? Why? Because adult, it seems like they have many formula of the first language in their brain already. Okay, so when they study another language, when they study a second language, and then they will study about the formula of the second language as well. Okay, and adult learner have the formula of the first language already. So when they study the second language in terms of grammar, it will be easy for them. Okay, to transfer from one formula to another formula. Yes, yes. However, in the case of pronunciation, okay, younger learner outperform adult learner. Yes, but in terms of pronunciation, younger learner can do better than adult learners. Okay, you see? Yes. Okay, The result of morphology and syntax tests reveal that all adolescents perform better than children less than 10 years old. Okay, adolescent, it starts from around 10 until 14 or 15, adolescent. Okay, so in terms of syntax, in terms of morphology, adolescent can outperform the children of 10 years old. Okay, of 10 years of age. Yes. Okay, view on language learning and learning in general. Okay, so we have two theory here. Yes. The first one, process-oriented theory, and the second one, condition-oriented theory. Okay, so right now let's go one by one all together in the next slide. Okay, so right here we have process and condition-oriented theory. Okay, let's start the first one, process-oriented theory. Process-oriented theory are concerned with how the mind processes new information, such as habit formation, induction, making inference, hypothesis testing, and generalization. Okay, so this one we call process-oriented theory. We focus on the process. Okay, we focus on the processes, the new information are formed in the mind. Okay. Yes. And condition-oriented theory emphasize the nature of the human and physical context in which language learning takes place, such as the number of students, what kind of input learner receive, and the learning atmosphere. Okay. So right here we study about the process in the mind. Okay. The process in the mind. Okay, and this one we study about the way the learner learn the language, the way the teacher teach the learner. Okay, so the teacher have to think about the number of students. It seems like classroom management. Okay, the teacher have to know the number of students in the class. Okay, and what kind of input learner receive. Okay, the teacher have to think about what kind of input the learners should expose to. Okay, and the learning atmosphere Okay, where to teach. Okay, where to teach the language, when. Yes, when you should, when the language is taught, when the language should be learned, and when the language should be taught. Okay. Yes, this is the task of the teacher. Yes, condition-oriented theory. So right here, it related to the teaching methodology and classroom management. Okay. Yes. Okay, right here we have process-oriented theory. Yes. So these are favor behaviorism. Okay. This favor behaviorism. You know behavior, everyone? Behavior. Yes. Okay, condition-oriented theory. Okay, favor cognitivism, favor constructivism, favor social constructivism. Okay. Yes. We will go deeper into each one in the following slides. Okay. Okay, theory of second language learning. Okay, so we have many theory here, like behavioral theory, universal grammar theory, and Gresham monitor theory. Okay, Yes. Okay, so right now let's go to the first one, behaviorism. Okay, so right here, behaviorism. Okay, we focus on classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Okay, and classical conditioning developed by Pavlov. Okay, and operant conditioning made by Skinner. Okay, and key term here we have conditioning. Yeah, conditioning here we have classical and operant. Okay, classical and operant. Stimulus, response. Okay, stimulus and response. And you will know about stimulus in the following slide and response as well. Okay, stimulus, it means something that cause another action happen. Okay, like the baby cry when the baby feel hungry. Okay, so it is a stimulus to make the mother feed him or her. Okay, so feeding is response. Yes. Reinforcement, negative and positive. Okay, reinforcement mean you you reinforce something. Okay, the degree that something happened should be high or should be low. Okay, this one is called reinforcement. We have negative and positive. Okay, principle. People behavior are directly observable rather than the mental system underlying this behavior. Okay, so behavior are directly observable. We can observe behavior, but you cannot observe the brain, right? The mental system, you cannot. Okay, you cannot observe mental system, but you can observe behavior. Okay, children are born with a mind that is like a blank state. Okay, that state, this state is called tabula rasa. Okay, this blank state is called tabula rasa. Blank state, it means in Khmer we call the taste ad, the taste ad. Okay, yes. So it's very easy for children to absorb things. Okay, because their brain is like a blank state. Okay, new fresh. So it's easy for children to absorb, to get things into. Okay, language is a verbal observable behavior. Okay, language is a verbal observable behavior. Like it is said, your word tell you who you are. Okay, your word tell you who you are. Okay, because your attitude, your idea expressed by the language. So when you speak the language out, people can recognize you, what kind of person you are. Okay, yes. Chunking theory. Language is learned in parts, then linked together. Okay, so chunking theory, you know chunk, a small chunk of thing, makanat, nah? So language is learned in part, okay, and then linked together. So first of all, you have to learn at word level, okay, and later on, you can learn at phrases level, and later on, you can learn at sentences level, paragraph level, essay level, and text level. Okay. Reinforcement will generalize similar stimulus, generalization. Okay. So reinforcement will generalize similar stimulus. Okay. Generalization. So reinforcement It seems like stimulus, the same. Okay. Right here we have reinforcement with generalized similar stimulus generalization. Okay, so children learn language step by step like this. The first one, children learn to imitate his or her mother. The first person he or she stay with when he or she exposed to the world. Okay, and then repetition. Children learn to repeat. Okay, repeat after his or her mother or father's words. And then they learn to memorize things, memorize words, memorize phrases. Okay. And then control trilling. You know trilling? You know trilling, everyone? I go to school, I go to the market, I go to the bank, for example. You drill. Okay. So children learn to drill after memorization. Okay. And then they learn to make their knowledge strong. Okay, they reinforce their knowledge. Okay, and they right here they strengthen their language by reinforcement, and reinforcement can be positive or negative. Okay. Okay, so this is mechanism of language acquisition. Okay, so here something is given plus something is taken. Okay, something is taken minus. Okay, so plus means positive reinforcement and minus something is taken. Okay, increases likelihood of behavior being repeated. Okay, so if you want to increase likelihood of behavior, you have to give positive reinforcement. Okay, yes. If you don't want to increase the likelihood of behavior, you have to use negative reinforcement. Right here, if you don't want the student to come to the class late, you have to deduct some mark for lateness. Okay, this is we call negative reinforcement. Okay, decreases likelihood of behavior. Being repeated. Okay, repeated. Right here, positive, negative, the same. Okay, so we have positive punishment and negative punishment. So positive punishment, it can be it can be positive punishment, everyone, decrease likelihood of behavior. Okay, and negative punishment. Okay, you know about these two. You know, positive and negative and punishment. Okay, positive punishment, it's mean it can be giving a small gift to the learner when they can answer right. Okay, small gift, it can be a candy, it can be a pencil. Okay, and negative punishment, it range from uh, frowning. Okay, frowning, it range from uh, staring at the learner. Okay, and it ranks from frowning, you know, frowning, chong chao. We negative punishment. We rank, we mean chặt tăng pi frowning, chong chao, the student cursing, sedai betul. Okay, and jangan looking down on student or something like this, negative punishment. Okay. Okay, so right now you will know clearly about stimulus response principle. Okay, so this is the stimulus, something that lead to another action. Okay, and this one we call response. Children, small child crying, okay, to show that he or she is hungry. Okay, child asking for food, and then mother, parent give food to her child. This is called response. Okay, this is called stimulus. Okay, so behavior, we have reinforcement, you have negative reinforcement and punishment. Okay, and for behavior, you have here reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and then likelihood of behavior increase. Okay, so when you reinforce, it means you want the behavior increase. Okay, the likelihood of behavior increase. Reinforce and negative reinforce. Okay, but for punishment, you want the likelihood of behavior go down, like this one. Punishment. This is about behavior, so not the same thing. This one want the likelihood of behavior go up. This one like the likelihood of behavior go down. Okay, to go down. Yes. Okay, so right now we come to universal grammar theory, basic tenet. Okay, tenet is here, like here. It is related to each other. Okay, in the table, many row, many column. We call tenet. Okay, a mentalist viewpoint related to nativism and cognitive theory. Okay, yes. Chomsky idea that all children are born with language acquisition divine. Okay, language learning depends on biological mechanism. Okay, children are innately programmed to learn language. Yes, sorry. The principle that children discover represent their core grammar, which relate to general principle that correspond to all languages. Okay, all human brain contain language universal that direct language acquisition. Okay, so these are based on, these based on universal grammar theory. Okay, so right now let's go to Stefan Gresham. Okay, here. Stefan Gresham, 1941, is professor emeritus at the University of Southern California, who moved from the linguistics department to the faculty of the School of Education in 1994. He is a linguist, educational researcher, and activist. He is considered one of the world leading authority in the field. In the field of what, everyone? Huh? in the field of linguistics, in the field of educational research. Okay, yes, Stefan Krashen theory. So he is very emeritus. Okay, he is very emeritus, very famous, very known for his idea. Okay, for his merit. Yes. Okay. Thank you.